In this video, we are going to talk about smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. When you are selling a residential property in the state of Vermont, it is essential that prior to closing, you have brought the smoke and carbon monoxide detectors up to Vermont Fire Safety Code. So you may say, okay, great. Well, I'll just go and purchase some smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. How hard could that be? So you go online or pop into a store in person. Here I'm browsing on homedepot.com for smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. And this gives me 75 results. That's a lot of choices. How do I know that I am purchasing the right kind for my dwelling? What is the code? Well, I'm going to show you how you can find that information. This is the Vermont Department of Public Safety, Division of Fire Safety's website. You can Google all of that or simply type in the address bar firesafety.vermont.gov. Again, that's firesafety.vermont.gov. Once you are on this page, I want you to scroll down and you're going to see these tiles here towards the bottom of the page. You're going to click on this first one here for building code and safety services. Then on the next page, you can get to the next thing a couple different ways. Either over here on the left-hand side, there is a link for code information sheets, or you can also click on this third tile here on the top right. This one is going to open up another grid, and look it, there's one right here that says preparing your home for sale, Vermont alarm requirements. So if I click on this, it is going to open up this sheet, which is simply explaining what Vermont's current laws are. They did actually recently change this. It used to be before 1996 required having only battery, and now they've made it to 1994. So let me go through this sheet in a little bit more detail. I'm going to zoom in here for you, so hopefully you can read along with me. So preparing your home for sale, Vermont alarm requirements. The seller of a single family dwelling, including one constructed for its first occupancy, if it's brand new construction, you've got to provide these correct smoke alarms, as well as carbon monoxide. So in Vermont, it is photoelectric only type. That matters. There are other kinds. There's an ionization kind, and there is also a combination of photoelectric and ionization. Those might be okay in other states, but in Vermont, it's photoelectric only type, okay? So you can install this on each level of the dwelling, including a basement, even if it's unfinished, and it has to be in the vicinity of any bedrooms. Vermont is not great about explaining what a vicinity is, but when I have met with a fire marshal in the past, they had indicated, let's say within 10 feet. So if you have 3 bedrooms all on the same level and they're all within 10 feet of each other, you can put one smoke alarm in the hallway that would cover all 3 of those bedrooms. If the bedrooms have a split layout, let's say you've got some bedrooms on one end of the house, living, dining, kitchen in the middle, and then a bedroom at the very far end, then you'd need to have 2 smoke alarms on that level because the bedrooms are not within 10 feet of each other. I hope that makes sense. This goes on further to say that you also need to have carbon monoxide alarms that also have to be in the vicinity of bedrooms for all new dwellings and dwellings that are sold or transferred beginning July 1st, 2005. So that is right down here talking about that CO alarms must be also in the vicinity of any bedrooms. So you don't have to have CO, carbon monoxide protection on every single level like you do for the smoke alarm on each level, but they do have to be in the vicinity of bedrooms. So if you do have bedrooms on the first and second floor, you're going to need a carbon monoxide alarm for both the first and second floor. And then up here, we talk about the power supply. This often gets to be confusing. When do I have to have a hardwired smoke alarm versus when can it just be a battery operated one? Well, this clarifies here that any dwelling that is constructed after January 1st, 1994, as well as carbon monoxide alarms that are installed in a dwelling constructed after July 1st, 2005, must be directly wired into the building's electrical service and also have a battery backup. So anything that was built prior to 1994 can be just battery, okay? Let's get into a little bit more details on this. So I'm gonna scroll back out here so you can see this whole grid. This code information sheet was also available on this website. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. Hopefully I can find it again for you. Yep, right over here, back on this grid where I clicked on preparing your home for sale. There were also these links over here for smoke alarm requirements and CO alarm requirements. So this is where I found those two sheets that I'm going to show you now. So this one for smoke alarms, you'll see that this grid initially seems a bit intimidating. I'm gonna zoom in so it doesn't actually intimidate quite so much. Most of the time we are dealing with pre-existing structures. So obviously it's a little bit different if you're dealing with brand new construction, but let's say you are reselling a home that is an owner-occupied single family dwelling. Again, has to be photoelectric only alarms installed at the time of transfer, prior to closing. If the house was built prior to January 1st, 1994, it can be hardwired or battery backup. And if it was constructed after January 1st, 1994, then it must be hardwired with the battery backup. And then if you continue along in the grid, it then also explains about the smoke alarm's location having to be in the vicinity of the sleeping rooms and on all floor levels, including the basement. Obviously, the rules are a little bit different if you are dealing with multifamily dwellings. There's a higher level of risk when you have multiple units that are interconnected. They share walls or floors. So note that this grid covers all of that. If you have an existing building with 1 or 2 dwelling units in the same building, like a duplex, if you have 3 or more dwelling units in the same building, a triplex or more, the rules are a little bit different. So follow the grid to understand what your obligations are with regard to the type, power supply, location. All right. Some of these also have some notes on the far right-hand side, so pay attention to those. I'm going to jump over to, before I do that, just also pointing out that the new building requirements are a little stricter up at the top. So those are available for you there. And then this same type of grid from Division of Fire Safety, but specific to the carbon monoxide alarm requirements, super helpful. Again, we've got this breakdown of new versus existing. Who's living there? Is it the owner? Is it a multifamily? Are there a lot of units? Is this a hotel, a dormitory, some kind of a lodging business? The more different occupants that you have in a space, the higher level of risk. So they are going to be stricter about those guidelines. And they may change at different times. So existing buildings, again, owner, 1 or 2, 3 or more, or is a large number of units, hotel, motel, dormitories. So follow along with the required power supply column right here at the top, and then the required locations. Here's all the references so you understand where did all these rules come from. The fire code is not just making this up on their own. This grid was made up based off of the rules that they have to follow. A couple of notes down here about the CO alarms as well. The CO alarms are required only on the floor levels where sleeping rooms are provided. So that is current Vermont code. You don't have to put a carbon monoxide alarm on every level, only where the bedrooms are. Also a note down here that sensors in CO alarms have a limited life. So keep in mind, that the CO alarms are probably not going to last as long as your smoke alarms. So this is your resource. This is available to you. This is publicly available information. So next time that you are going to Home Depot's website or Amazon, or you want to shop at Curtis Lumber or RK Miles, you can go in with some confidence and say, okay, well, I need a hardwired unit So I was filtering over here on this far left-hand side. I love filters. I find that to be extremely helpful. So here I checked off hardwired so that we know, okay, let's limit it to just the hardwired units because we're building something brand new. It also has to have a battery backup. That's another filter option right here. I'm gonna check that off. So now you see that my source of hardwired with battery backup is right there. And then we also can go down to the sensor type. There's photoelectric or ionization. Here in Vermont, we only allow photoelectric. So now I've made all of my choices. You can see that they are here hardwired, photoelectric, battery backup, and I've gone from 75 down to 18 results. So I hope this video helps. If you still are stumped and you would like more specific one-on-one guidance, I am happy to be a resource for you. Reach out to me anytime. We at Hoffman Real Estate take fire safety very seriously, and we want to be sure that you are ready and not caught off guard at the closing table.